I'm
Welcome to the Community Engagement Commission meeting for Wednesday, March 19th. Let's do a little roll call. I'm here. Robin Beckdahl.
Here.
Bill Norman.
here.
Cynthia Gamboni on leave. Arlene Fisher-Mar.
Arlene is ill tonight. I make a motion that we excuse Arlene from tonight's meeting.
I second that.
I think that we're gonna take a vote. We need a vote here. Okay.
You can do it either way.
Okay, I think we can just excuse her, but
Okay.
yeah, she's excused.
So you administratively.
Yeah, she's
so we're not
excused.
Doing the motion. Well,
No.
you have a motion.
Okay.
You have a motion, so we should vote.
All in favor of excusing Arlene tonight?
I
Aye. Is that
Say aye.
Martin, Bill?
Aye.
Yes.
All opposed? She is excused. Mark Saba.
Here.
That's it for us, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Approvals. Anyone want to make a motion to?
I move that we approve the minutes from our February 19th meeting as presented.
How about the agenda?
Oh, what did I say?
We'll get to that.
Oh.
We're just skipping around.
Okay, the minutes.
I'm sorry.
It's fine, it's fine.
I second it.
Which are we approving?
Minutes.
Okay.
The minutes.
I'm going to be quiet the rest of the meeting now.
All in favor of,
Aye.
Aye.
wow, we're just going off the rails. Any opposed to, moving these minutes? Okay. How about the agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as written with surprises to come, as I heard.
Any changes or a second?
second it.
All in favor of keeping the agenda as written? Say aye. Any opposed? Nope. Okay, the agenda is approved as written. Public comments. Do we have anyone here? No. Do we have anyone online? Or anything written in? No. All right, City Hall updates, moving right along. Thank you for these, David.
As usual, we have an update already. And it's with item number 1, and I'm just having a good day today. We interviewed a candidate this afternoon at 3:00. Bill was in on the Zoom call for that with the mayor and myself. And I got permission from the mayor to let you know that she is going to be recommending a fellow named Logan Langford, who's involved in the building field, to the city council. Hopefully, if the timing all works out, we'll be able to have him approved by the city council at the April 1 meeting.
Good.
We have to go through the process you all went through with a background check, and that should only take within a few days, I would think. And that would really help us with the quorum issue if we can get him on board for our April meeting, which I believe is April 16th. And then we have another, I'll let you know, we have another candidate who's scheduled to be interviewed, also going to be done by Zoom in order to fit the mayor's schedule. That will be on a week from Friday at 11 o'clock. And I am opening this up to the group to ask, is there anybody among you who would be willing to assist with that interview? A week from Friday, 11 o'clock online.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, I'll put you down.
Online, Zoom.
It'll be online Zoom. Bill, it was what, almost an hour? Very
Right.
casual.
I think our time with him was like 45 minutes maybe. And then we spent a few minutes, the three of us, just talking about it.
And, you've all been through this process. It's for Mark, it's a very casual Q&A. We don't have any set list of questions. It's
Who'll be in on it? You, Chris, me?
myself, Chris and you.
The Chris.
I was gonna say the mayor, then you said Chris, like. I don't know, Bill, did you want to say anything about the process today? Or?
No, I mean, I thought that it mirrored what at least I had gone through. And I really was impressed with him. And he was articulate, and he was a good listener too, which impressed me. And he's a project manager for a construction firm.
What's his name again?
Logan Langford.
God, that name sounds familiar.
He's a young man,
Is
just
he?
out of college about,
He said he's been in Liberty Lake for like 6 years.
yeah, and I think this might be, it started as an internship, but he was just promoted to project manager with the firm, which is headquartered in St. Louis.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
really bright, energetic, personable guy. We'll like him.
Excited.
Right, awesome. Yay.
Oh, and I'll let you know, the background on the process. I went back to like everybody who applied who was still kind of in the mix, going back more than a year, people who had checked off Community Engagement Commission, even going back 15, 16 months ago, just to widen the pool. We had 6 to start out with. The most recent applicant, I think, was in January, February, January, December. He decided about a month ago to pull out. So then we had 2 other people who have since been appointed to other commissions. And then when I heard that the mayor was looking at maybe limiting it to one per person, one commission per person, I thought, well, we've got, and I reached out to the other people and didn't get a response. So we had 3 in the mix. Of those 3, 2 live outside of city limits, but they meet the qualification of owning a business in the city limits.
Also JC as well.
Logan is in town and meets that qualification that way. And of those 3, one of them has since withdrawn this week. So we were down to 2, and we're going to be interviewing the second one next Friday.
Just, and this is perhaps a random comment, but it was a little surprising to me to see the date on his application as early January of this year. And without knowing what our limitations might be, it would seem that we could do better than that.
Mhm. We had to, I'll use my words well here, hopefully. We had to coordinate everybody's schedules.
Yeah.
Another sort of random comment without saying too much about the other candidate. I happen to know that that person came to the town hall meeting and was somebody that we spoke to at length for a while, and that's how they got any notice of this. And I think they're probably a very good candidate and application for this.
That's good.
Yeah, so maybe we can speak more on that later, but I thought that was cool. Personally.
Can I ask a question about next, it would be next, the 28th, what time would the meeting?
11 o'clock.
Good.
Network.
Yeah, my grandson has, sorry. That works perfect. 11 o'clock, I'll put that down right now.
All right, anything else on that? On to the next city council? Bullet point there, David?
Just, does anybody have any questions or comments? I don't know if there was so much from last night's meeting that
It was pretty
really
great.
connected with community engagement so
Yeah.
much.
Okay,
They did bring out I think it's the 5th person on the library board got approved.
Unanimously. Which is good. She was pretty sharp.
okay,
Oh, I guess connect with that, just so you know,
Yeah.
I don't think I had this in here. One of the key positions from City Hall, Kelsey is going to be
Oh,
leaving
yes.
at the end of the month due to family move to the other coast of America. And her successor, it's hard to say replacement, her successor started working today. They're going to be doing some training for about 10 days, and then her successor was approved by the council last night as well.
awesome.
She seemed pretty on top of everything too. I was impressed.
Do we, what is her name? Do we have? it?
Rochelle Caton.
Hayton.
Oh, and actually just quickly on the city academy portion of things. I really enjoyed doing it when I did it. And I don't know if anyone is interested in jumping on for a specific one. I think we should think about going to some of those if they're new and different. Just as a reminder that it was super helpful and I feel like it's been good for us and also been good for us to show our face there and communicate with people. Like I said, that's how we got an applicant from the town hall meeting. I just feel like all of these things are bringing together people who are interested in community involvement in general. So, just putting it out there again.
When I did the academy, I missed the law enforcement one. I would like to,
That was great.
Pick
And
that
that was wonderful.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that same thing. If there's something I missed or hasn't happened, I want to jump on there too.
I think it'll be primarily the same topics as from
Sure.
yours session a year ago. Bill joined before we went on the road. We
Yeah.
started going on the road last year. We don't know the topics and dates yet, and pre-registration, technically it's out there on Eventbrite if you want to go to Eventbrite. We're not going to promote it until tomorrow because I thought we'll start of spring. We'll start the public promotion on this tomorrow with start of spring. You don't need to pre-register, but in case for some reason things got really popular and filled up, we have a 15-seat limit. But anybody can just pop in for a session, assuming there's room available. And I think, Robin, you were the first one, right? So if you want to get a refresher or see what it's like to go on site for most of these.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just wondering if there's maybe another opportunity for us to think beyond this moment in this meeting, if anything comes up that we're thinking would be useful or interesting for us to, I don't know.
Well,
I just,
it does address, one of the things that Summer has commented to me about the farmer's market as an example is that perhaps we have limited ourselves in thinking that we need to be tied to that booth and be there to respond, when in fact we might do more good if we did a little bit of wandering,
Mhm.
you know, with our badge and initiated, and we initiated some conversations about anything.
yeah.
And this, I bring that up only because I think that's kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I had a good time with each of these academy sessions. And actually maybe some of these are things we can table for some upcoming stuff, but like when we did the 911, that was great. I mean, going there was great, and I felt like there was there's a good contact person there for some community engagement opportunities. And maybe we can start looking at that a little more, not just the clubs that we're involved with, but some of these specific entities and seeing what our community engagement plan is there. I don't know. Again, another day maybe, but I just want to get us kind of thinking about using that as a place to think and act.
And contact your friends and neighbors and let them
Yeah.
know about this.
Okay, anything else on this before we move on? All right, community satisfaction survey update, David.
I actually have a new stat that I didn't share last time. The survey is planned to be wrapped up online Monday, March 31. We're getting certainly a very slow trickle of responses at this point, the last couple of weeks, although they're still coming in. We even had one about a week ago came in from somebody from the January mailing. So I was surprised some people are still holding on to these cards.
Spring cleaning.
They're still on the refrigerator someplace.
Stack.
Yeah, they got to the stack.
Get to
Oh,
the
okay.
bottom of it.
I do notice that when we do like a bit of a promotion on Facebook, we get a little bit, I mean, barely, but
Sure.
like last Friday I did one. And we did have somebody respond that same morning after a couple of days gap of nobody.
You mean there was not a huge spike after my
No,
interview?
no, yours was before that. Yours was like a week or two before.
We had a real spike after
No, I'm
you.
talking After my interview, was there a huge
I can
spike?
say, I can accurately say that the spike was just as high as all the other ones.
Okay. In other words, it did not.
You didn't get any calls complaining.
I want your autograph, man. I told you.
I know.
Glad you did that, actually. I mean,
It was
I
fun.
thought that was
Dave
great.
and I, we had fun doing it.
I'm really glad you did it.
What I found amusing about that one was after the city administrator saw that one, he made some comment about going to a kitchen. I said, Mark, that's our break room. You know, I had moved the table a bit from where it
So it
normally
looked
is,
like
but
I was in a kitchen environment. Yeah,
That's
it worked out good.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, unscripted. It was all ad lib.
I was
Yeah,
impressed.
It was fun. About 15 takes. Yeah, you get halfway through it and that go,
maybe
like, oh, damn, okay, wait. Okay, we gotta do this over. And then Dave said, that's okay. It took Chris a lot of takes too. I go, Okay, as long as I. So,
Like 3.
okay, move on.
So promotion wise, I was planning to do just 2 more, another video that the mayor did. Recorded for me like a month or so ago. That'll possibly be the last one, the last week, and then I've also got another preview of what other questions people can respond to and to entice them, like, well, yeah, I want to have my voice recorded on that topic.
Mhm.
And then the city administrator made a comment to me this morning, and I just started thinking about it more in the afternoon, so I added a new one like about 10 minutes before this meeting, tying into the NCAA tournament. So I whipped up something like between 5 and 6 o'clock tonight that got posted just before I came into the room.
Good.
I don't know how many more we'll get out of this.
Do
But
we have a
it'll-
number?
How many
do
do
have
you
the-
have?
Here's where we are now. I don't remember what the number was last time we met. It wasn't
140?
too far from this.
Yeah.
People who at least put in one answer, we have 239 people.
Okay.
People who completed the survey, 234. So only
Hey,
5
that's
people
great.
That's good.
did not go all the way through. So
234? That's.
So again, I say people are not being dissuaded by the length of this because they can't see how many pages are on this. You have
Sure.
to hit the next button.
Sure.
So once people are starting, almost everybody is finishing this thing.
Great.
Compared to last year with the different format of the survey, it was 173 who had at least one answer versus 171 who completed the whole thing. Here's the stat I did not share last time, the cost on this. When we did the first survey last year, we had the initial letter that went out to 660 people with a stamp on it. We sent out a follow-up letter with the packet of the however many pages that survey was, with a return stamped envelope, so 2 stamps per person on that one, plus however extra weight that survey was. And then we did a follow-up, I believe it was just a postcard for the people who had not responded yet after some weeks. The total mailing cost last year was about $3,500. This year, we did one round of postcards to about around 1,500 people, give or take about 100. And then did a second round of those again in February to a different group of people. So 2 rounds of postcards, about 1,500 each. Cost on those was $1,200.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
I will tell you so far, the cost per returned survey response for this year, About $502. Let's move the
Very
decimal.
valuable, you
Let's
see.
move the decimal. $5.02. Does that sound better?
$502.
$5.02 per return survey this year. I will let you do your own math
Sure.
regarding the other one, which is much higher.
Sure.
We would just say, we're in better shape this year and we're last.
Yes,
Well, we learned some things.
Yeah.
there's still more things to learn.
Yep.
There, the city administrator, we were looking at different possibilities for trying to get more. And some thought had been put into doing a 3rd round, and ultimately the decision was, well, we're probably really getting the answers
You
that
got
are going to
it.
be not
Yeah.
that much different with
No.
trying to get 100 plus more people to respond. The next steps are, after the survey wraps up March 31st. Mark McAvoy is planning to have some kind of a survey report ready for end of April.
Good.
And that's around the time he would be presenting it to the city council, which would likely be the first meeting in May. And there could be the possibility, no promises here, but may or may not be sharing you folks the results of that. I'm not sure how the calendar lines up. I guess you'd be meeting after the city council would be meeting, correct? Yeah. But if it happens to be done early enough in mid-April, probably not. We could possibly share you the results. I don't know.
Aren't the results pretty much instantaneous using Zen City?
Well, as far as collecting them all, and I think Mark does some analyzing, like grouping some categories sometimes.
And comparative, right? This is the first time we get to actually
Yes.
compare to last year. so
Compare last year's.
Sure.
And
So
then-
you
I'm excited about.
David, you expanded, did you say that you expanded sort of the sample size, or was
Yeah,
it? okay.
last year's sample size was 660 people.
And how much
in order
was
to
it
meet a
this
certain
time?
Scientific survey standard.
Yeah,
It was the hope to do something similar to that this year, but again, the responses just aren't allowing for that. So we're going for, trying to get higher numbers. And we got the higher numbers this year. And I
what was the
guess
sample size?
it was
you-
around 1,500 per mailing. We did 2
3,000.
mailings.
It was 3,000.
3,000? So
That's
if
a
we
six
did
on-
percentage wise,
7.6% response.
what was the first time around? How much did we get the first time percentage
I
wise?
had that down. I don't remember.
14, was it?
I don't know it for certain to say that in public. I don't know.
Do math.
I'll get it.
So yes, the response rate was higher last year. The numbers were higher this year and the cost is lower this year per response.
Well, yeah, but if we looked at, you're gonna do a trending, then you'd have to say, well, percentage wise, we had a larger sample,
Mhm.
percentage wise, it actually went down percentage wise. And then you have to go through an analysis saying, wonder why it did and what should we do to get it,
Mhm.
beef it back up?
Yeah,
And that's my perspective,
we're not done on trying to improve this thing yet, David.
I think we learn something every year, honestly. 28% last year
Was it that high? Wow.
response, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, if
We
it's
got
only
170
Okay, well, okay.
out of 600.
660 or whatever.
yeah, so that was quite a bit more, and I just wonder if, I know that we elected not to do the mailing, but that could have something to do with it.
Yeah, it was, it was a real thing. I mean, I think there was some gravity to it.
Oh,
you know.
getting the hard copy?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Oh, yeah,
I agree.
especially with the stamped envelope, and I really think that, I still think that that's beneficial.
And
That's why you're here.
I have to agree with Robin because how many, like Bill and Mark, how many older folks got it that don't know how to scan
Or don't
QR
want
code,
to, don't want
Or
to
don't
perhaps.
want, or don't want to learn that.
Yeah.
There might be a group out there, maybe a small group, maybe a big group, I don't know. But there might be a group out there that didn't answer to our survey because they didn't have the technology to do it. So,
Well, they didn't have the tech, let's say you have the technology, but then it's like, oh, great, username and password again. And then you
no,
go in
didn't
there
have
and you
to
do
it On
that.
this one,
No, but
I took the survey and all you had to do is scan it and it took you right to the survey and you took it. There was no entry of
No entry.
password or.
no, you didn't have to do anything, but I could see how somebody might just immediately think they'd have to anyway and just kind of.
Oh, yeah,
in
that's the
that- in
first
that
thing,
pile. Sure.
But I mean, I'm just saying, I think we gotta sort of compare.
I think next time, I think you're right, Robin. But instead of mailing it out, I think the next survey we do to let them know that they could come to City Hall and pick up.
Yeah, that's
a
my biggest,
copy
that's my biggest
of
thing.
because it was just assumed, yeah, you can come to City Hall. If you got any questions, you'll call. But it was just assumed that they would come to City Hall and pick them up. Well, if you don't put it in writing, then people don't know. So I
Yeah,
think
that's,
next year,
that was a big thing for me. Yeah.
You're in favor of doing something like that?
Yeah, I mean, to me, if it says you can get it at the library, you can get it at City Hall,
yeah,
then
libraries.
anything that is like voting in some real established way, to me, it just adds veracity to, I don't know. To me, I think you need something like that and it needs to be clear. And I think people like that type of community engagement. They like showing up the library to put their thing in the ballot box. Some people like City Hall, some people don't. It's a little weird, I think, because something like the
Intimidating.
library is a little bit, yeah,
Library's more
less
friendly, yeah.
intimidating. So, I mean, that was my big thing is that believe me, I did the QR code this time. I'm happy that I was able to do that. But I like the idea of making sure everyone knows that there is an alternative way.
Yep.
Even if they have access, they have all that, they just want to. They just want to get out and do something. And would that be a lot more people? I'm not sure. I think a lot of it still lays on us to get people interested, let them know why it's important, get them excited for one reason or another. But I think that now that we have 2 sets of results coming up, hopefully it'll be easier and easier.
Is there by any chance, maybe next year, and I don't know if we should be talking about this now, but what the heck?
You got time, we took one thing off the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, I'm not worried about time. I'm just, if, we should be discussing this after the survey's over, but, for next year, maybe condensing it down? Is there some certain questions on there that, we can take a look at last year and this year and say, well, these are kind of useless, I'm just saying, I
I
don't
think
know.
that's fair game. We did that last year too.
Yeah, and I think that'll happen when we
But-
have all those answers are
Right,
compared to
but
last one, yeah.
But then, we could possibly take it from 6 pages to maybe 4 pages,
Yeah.
and, is
Yeah.
that, I don't know, I'm just looking at ways to entice people to respond back.
Bill, any comments on paper type survey?
Well, Robin mentioned some things that I really hadn't thought about and I think are really valid. I think on the one hand, we want to have as much, I don't, maybe not, but she raised the issue of being able to recognize trends given different variables. And so one variable was, and it's a significant one, was the size of the sampling. Another would be the questions and the length of the questionnaire. So I think we need to be thoughtful about that so that it doesn't become so distinct each year that they become isolated. So having said that, and I'm glad those things are all on the table. I have always agreed that the degree to which we can create some physical interaction, at least a physical option, is surely, almost certainly, going to, if not expand the numbers of returns, it will expand the range of the sampling. We'll get more varied audiences if we do that. So I think the physical, we've demonstrated with the town hall meeting, for example, that a physical mailing gets attention. And so I think as we weigh costs, we also need to address what we're getting for that, and maybe it's more than simply the cost per response. I don't know where that is, but
Yeah.
I think the dialogue needs to include all of that. And I've always felt that at least offering a physical option. Well, it's.
Well, I don't think, when we start talking about cost, if I'm not mistaken, our mailing budget for both years have been about $5,000.
Mhm.
Honestly, we haven't even come close to it.
Exactly.
Sure,
Year.
sure,
And so
sure.
we do have that fluctuation. If
Sure,
we
sure.
want to mail them.
And that's probably something, an important text to put in the plan there that we do have budgeted something.
Also, I think when we see the results and we see what demographics we had difficulty reaching, then that's our push to get more
Yeah.
numbers, right? So we find out the apartments or whatever is not responding, then we make some push there and that will probably jump our numbers too, if we know specifically what
Where
we're,
we need to
where
focus
we're not
on.
getting things. And then also, I'm excited about when we have results, anything that happens, excuse me, anything that happens that we can point, and I've said this before, but that we can point to being,
Consequence.
yeah, just a result of what we've surveyed. I think then we get more responses the next time around. We say, because people said this, there was an actual affected change,
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be awesome. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And I think there's ways to do it,
What would you call it? It would execute.
Yeah.
What the people ask.
Yeah, yeah.
Execution.
Then they, trust that
Right.
why
Wow,
we're
they
doing this,
actually listen
I
to
know,
us.
I know.
That plays to transparency.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Exactly, Bill.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about implementation. And it's when they say something and if we don't, we're either going to implement and execute or it just, they just start not saying it's not going to do any good. I mean,
Okay.
that's,
Right. I want to be able to stand there confidently and tell people, yeah, this, if these are things that happen based on people's actual words. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
that's all I got from that. But
Okay.
anyone else got anything else before we move on on the survey? All right, city event posters. Excuse me.
Last meeting, Robin requested, could we see a mock-up of I believe it was, you said July poster.
Yeah.
So couple of things to preamble on this. We're in March right now. March is about 100 days away from July. I know that there are some other things happening in development with some city hall activities that are still being decided on. So right now, it's not a good use of staff time to come up with a design that will be totally scrapped and reworked. So I was thinking, really, I think the main question or the main concern, main area of curiosity you folks had last month was, can there be enough space on this calendar, to put other
Everything.
additional things on there? To me, I think that was really the key question everybody had.
I think. we
So
can.
here's what I did. This is the cheap and dirty response. I know what a mock-up is. I know this is not a mock-up. This is I'm fully admitting, cheap and dirty way to respond to what I think was the key question. It took me like 5 minutes to do this. So what I did was I just looked at last year's posters. I want to get these in proper order here. So what I did was I took out the sports camps to show you how much space is going to be widened
Oh,
up.
yeah.
And this is just this is for May and June. And there are maybe I'm going to say at least one item on here that's still in yellow that probably is not going to be on there for this year, and it could be more. There could be also some additional things coming up. We need to find out what's
Sure.
happening with Parks and Recreation, some things with community development. And
So
then,
do you take the sports thing like you talked about last time? Is there gonna be a separate entity?
yeah, I've talked with
Okay.
Mikhail. Our mutual plan is we want to see everything from mid-April through end of August on a single poster. I was surprised at how much text that filled up, and I'm
Yeah.
only on the text only on that. So both of our mutual goal is to get it all on one poster. I'm hoping to have something done to show Mikhail next week on that. I really want to see it all on one poster. I may end up having to possibly, if there could be room here, maybe plan B is, and I'm hoping it doesn't happen, do some of the spring kids stuff on here, the sports stuff, continue some of that, and then have maybe after school, end of school session, be a poster of itself. That's a fallback plan. My goal is to still get everything onto one poster. It may not be as designed up for that sports and recreation one as I wanted it to be. I think I can make it work though.
So
So
David, there shouldn't be an issue with that. We're talking, you're gonna put it on the May-June. The May-June, there should be enough room for it,
yeah,
for that. And then for July, August, sports, they'll have their own, and then the city will have, or group, whatever. we will have
and so
ours.
for comparison, here's the last year's July, August,
There you go.
which as you know, we were in a confined space of 11 by 17. I really wanted to get on there last year, both the farmer's market and the library summer soiree.
And the mud strap.
Well, I'll talk about that.
No, we are gonna get the mud strut on this year.
If it's, we are only promoting city officially sponsored and city co-sponsored events.
We'll talk
Okay, we'll
offline.
talk.
We're talking offline.
In fact, I can address that right now. There are a couple of state laws that pertain to the work I can do as a promotions person. WAC 292-110-101 talks about use of state resources. I'm not going to read the whole thing, just a few key parts. A statement of principles: all state employees and officers are responsible for the proper use of state resources, including funds, facilities, tools, property, and their time. Moving down to subsection 3, permitted personal use of state resources. Subsection BII says the use must not be for supporting or promoting the interests of or soliciting for an outside organization or group. RCW 4252.160, and I didn't write this stuff. I'm just telling you what the words
The
say.
soiree falls under this.
Well,
exactly.
well,
Yes, it does. Yes, it does,
I'll get to
because
that.
it is not a city. It is not as, it's
I'll get to that.
complete.
I'll get to that. And I support this word. I'm trying to find a way to get that.
Then you
one
should
too.
be able to get away around with the other thing too.
So the RCW use of persons, money, or property for private gain, and there are like 5 sections on this. Really, the only one that pertains to this is section 1. No state officer or state employee may employ any other person, money, or property under the officer's or employee's official control or direction, or in his or her official custody, for the private benefit or gain of the officer, employee, or another. So as much as I'm a promotions guy, as much as I like to see things get publicized, my employment is with the city, capitalized City of Liberty Lake organization. By state law, I am bound to promote City Hall sponsored activities, City Hall co-sponsored activities, which also includes library, police department, trailhead, and events that are free and open to the public that are on city-owned properties such as parks. Based on this, I would not be promoting activities that are on the parks that are involving some kind of a fee. That's a private organization. I'm not going to specify organizations or businesses that may do some of those things. Some of you know some of the ones that do that. But things such as the Spokane Symphony Concert or Shakespeare in the Park, which have a different organizations that's the primary sponsor for those. The City of Liberty Lake is a co-sponsor, so I'm allowed to promote those things on city resources. Anything done by a private business, anything done by a private organization that is not on city property, the RCWs and the WAC say what they say. And I am bound to obey those.
So we can't do the muskrat and we can't do the soiree because the soiree is not on city property. Soiree is done at the winery.
My philosophy on that one, and you are totally correct on that. I'm a supporter of both that, and I know you told me that there are some things going on with the, let's talk about the golf tournament in the past, which was also not on city property. I think they were not on Trailhead, right?
No, it was on,
Okay.
it was over at the, but
My philosophy on both of those is that both of those events are raising funds, the entirety of which go towards the benefit of the city programs. So if somebody wants to raise an issue on me, maybe not following the law, that I'll take that as a test case, but I want to
so you're
publicize
gonna
the
do the
story.
soiree, but not the muskrat.
It is not a city, unless things change, and it could change. It is not a city sponsored event. It is not on city
We'll
property.
see.
Okay, I have 2 questions, just quick questions. One, is there something that we can come up with that is a community board, some sort of community events, community beyond, right? For example, Munster, other things that are like that. I don't know what the derby, the roll down the hill derby is, or
That's not even
oh,
the
yeah.
city.
Okay.
owned.
Okay, I'm just saying, what I'm using that as an example, right? Is there any room for something like that for sort of unofficial? I understand we can't use your resources for it, beyond you as a group. Is there something that we could do? Is it worth our time? Do we want to think about additional, something else like that would cover that's under community engagement?
Be careful because the commission is under city.
Sure, I understand, but I'm just saying, could we think outside the box a little bit? There is plenty of stuff that doesn't have to be using direct resources, that could be setting up for community members to do in some way. I feel like that's totally within our purview. So I don't know what that answer is right now, but I imagine that there is some space for that if we're interested in that.
Yeah, you
So.
are the idea people. That's why you're.
Right, and I don't have the idea. I'm just saying I can imagine that it would be important for us to think about that because there's probably a lot of things that maybe the community would be interested in and they don't care if the city is promoting it or not. They just want to do it because it's something they like doing and they like seeing and they don't know the difference if it's us or not. So I don't know. That's something. And then also just a quick question was and Skyhawks, that's all at our stuff. That's
Skyhawks is under a contract with city. It's an outside organization doing it, but it's under contract with city.
okay.
City co-sponsored event.
Cool. All right.
And again, I want to emphasize, I did not write these things. They were written probably before.
Sure. No, I get where you're stuck at things. I'm just trying to think as a group, if we have things that we know are important to the community, how do we solve that problem? That's, and I don't know what that answer is yet, but I'd like to,
I also want to put it out there just for the record, because I emailed all you on this last summer, but I never formally said it in public or anything like that, but yeah, I did want to get 2 other events on the July and August one last year. Again, we're stuck with a physical space of 11 by 17 paper. I wanted to get on there the farmer's market, which was on the May, June poster. And I really tried to get the summer soiree on that. And what that one came down to was, I knew the summer soiree was doing its own poster. Now, the purpose of promoting summer soiree, that particular event on a poster, is not to get as many people as possible to come to it. The purpose of those posters are to sell out the event. There is a finite number of tickets at that event. And because of the Q&A I did for the podcast with a couple ladies from Friends of the Library when I promoted the soiree and the book sale some weeks earlier than that last year, I knew from them that this event traditionally sells out 1 or 2 weeks at a time. Robin confirmed that to me last year too. So I thought, okay, that poster is already out. Is the soiree going to be losing any money by not being on this poster when the other poster, the great poster just by itself, is out there? No. The event sold out because of the Friends of the Library's
sure.
poster. Had this been the only poster that was helping to promote it, yeah, that would have changed my thinking on it. But I knew that that other poster was going to achieve its goal, and it was out there all over the place.
Sure.
And
And
it
to
sold
the
out.
interested
It
parties.
sold out.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the library and the Friends of the Library did not lose a nickel because it was not on this poster last year. The other poster did it, which was the goal.
I have a question. So if that's the case, then, okay, you're right. I'm the president of the Friends of the Library. We need to know. You're not gonna put the book sale on or the soiree, because the
Oh,
book sale is
Yeah,
by,
sales on there.
well, why would that be on there when the book sale is totally ran by the Friends of the Library?
It's on city property and it's benefiting the library.
Okay, and I'm not saying, that we even, at this moment, I'm resigned to, we need to do our own promotion and I'm trying to get on to my group, but, the soiree is totally benefiting the
Yeah.
library, totally. It's,
Which is why I want to get it on the poster this year.
I mean, you have to understand, because the city doesn't have a large enough piece of property. It's not that they can't be able to hold something like that, but it's totally benefiting
Mhm.
the library with the programs. And that's one of our biggest fundraisers.
Yeah.
I mean, nonetheless, I'm getting the whole team geared up and saying, okay, if we don't have any additional help with promotion, we need to beef it up.
Mhm.
But I'm just saying, I'm trying to follow the reasoning but, I realize that,
Which reasoning are you including?
well, I'm just saying then we wouldn't have the book sale on there neither.
The book sale is on city property in the library. The city owns the library.
I think he's saying yes to both things
Yeah.
he's saying yes to both this year.
We had the book sale on the poster last year. The book sale will be on the poster this year because it's on city property. And it is an event that is financially supporting entirely the city operation of the library.
Okay, well.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
that should sound like a good thing, Rob.
No, I mean, irregardless, like I said, I'm getting the team ready, the promotion team, and I'm saying, in the case that, you don't, I said, we need to go full hard. I'm telling them, how best to plan for this. So it helps me, and what you do to help me
Mhm.
to move forward
Yeah,
with
and
the
then,
group.
like I said, with the soiree, which one is this? There's space for it easily this time. And I want to have it on there. I see 3 tiers. Number 1, is it a city-sponsored event or co-sponsored by the city? Number 2, second tier is it on city-owned property like a park, trailhead, library, even the police building? And is it open and free to the public in that case? And then number 3, is it a program that maybe doesn't meet either of those 2 categories, but does 100% of the proceeds benefit city programs? The library is doing that with the soiree. The golf tournament last year did that with Winter Glow.
Okay.
Again, Robin, that should be a good thing.
Okay, no, I'm trying to,
Who employs the library staff?
Hmm?
Who employs the library?
City
staff?
Hall, City of Liberty Lake.
And what's this
Capital
other
X.
event we're talking about?
Don't even bring it up. It's a dead issue, I guess,
yeah,
but that's okay.
Let's-
Not-
let's
not
move
great.
on.
I did not write the RCW.
Yeah,
Want to make
I-
that clear.
Yeah, and how you I respect that. Will, yeah, let's,
It also gets into an issue of,
Let's move on.
it also gets
Yeah.
into an issue of equity. If we do it for some organizations, we have to do it for every fill in the blank, small organization who wants city help on.
All right, I think
Yeah, let's
we
move
got
on.
it, we got it, we got it. So, but I will leave this open though.
Yeah.
If there is something that we want to get on somewhere, we should talk about what that looks like.
Don't want to break state law there.
No, but there, again, if there's things that make sense for the community, we can figure out creative and totally legal, normal ways to do it if that's worth our time and interest. Okay, C, city council workshop / town hall meeting. I gave my little Bill Norman written, report to city council. Yeah, that's something. But I mean, I certainly didn't see any pushback from them about anything. And it was brought up as a topic about, library community,
Community center.
the community center topic du jour.
I have a concern though with it.
Yeah,
There has been, and I've been meaning to bring this up at citizen comments at the city council meeting, but there has been a couple of surveys out there that, well, I shouldn't say surveys. One was a survey. It was over the restaurant. And 90% of the people wanted a company called Chavan. And there was 4 city council people that said no to it.
and just real quick, the survey, what?
It was some kind of, I don't know who did the survey, but someone went out.
Just like a
did-
personal,
just a
like,
personal
okay,
random
got it,
survey.
got it.
And the 90% that came back, they wanted this, and the city council went against it and went the other way.
Mhm.
Okay, not listening to the people. Then there was a lady that was up for the board,
Mhm.
for the library board. She was nominated up twice. And if you came to city hall meetings or city council meetings, there was a parade of people endorsing her. I mean, Kim couldn't get a more lavish endorsement.
Sure.
They voted against her. So my question is, are we gonna waste our time going out and doing a survey for the library, and will they listen to us? That's my question.
Sure.
Will they listen to, so far they've shown that they won't. But I'm not sure if the community engagement goes out and does something, will they listen? I'm not sure if they will or not. So
Well,
that's my concern.
In that one, and it was well written in Bill's piece that I read, and I feel like I just kind of briefly navigated through it. I think that up to now, we've been asked or tasked with these little pieces of official community engagement for each project or thing that's come to us. And again, I think Lisa's done a great job with like the work comp plan and all that, where it's like we have an appropriate and very specific ask, and then we participate in that, and then we also are advising city council, and they have to, they either do it or they don't do it. At a certain point, I think we have to see how they respond to what we specifically advise. I think that it's similar to them not listening to these surveys. It's similar to them ignoring people coming up there. But I think for us, and for me personally, I'd like to see if we specifically advise on a topic, if it turns out that we're way off mark for what they're thinking, or if they completely just laugh it off, or if they do implement it. I want to see what that looks like.
Sure.
This outside thing is kind of an interesting, I hate to call it an experiment. It is an interesting thing to witness, but it hasn't directly given me the answer about if it's worth my time to advise, it be an advisory capacity. And that's kind of where I'm at. And I feel like so far the stuff we have done, for example, the town hall meeting, I think went over well and was mutually beneficial. So far I'm on the side of it is
Good. Okay.
working, but
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. Is that?
I'm just optimistically cautious. I'm sorry.
Sure.
So,
I probably don't have anything to add about it.
Does that,
yeah, it's worth a try, but I just hope they, I don't know, I feel like, I attend quite a few city council meetings, and I'm getting to the point now, I'm getting very frustrated because it's like they don't listen to the people. And it's frustrating. And I hope they listen to us as a commission of the city.
Mhm.
And if we do bring something back to them, I hope they take it and, divulge everything that we.
See, I think that's the mission.
Yeah,
So far, I think the city council has responded favorably to us. And if we can look back after however many years and see that the city council and feel that the city council has acted more wisely because of our interaction with them, then
mhm.
I think that's a good deal. We don't touch everything that they see.
No.
So I'm still in it. I
So,
think-
yeah, we want to move forward with it. Let's, if it's the library thing.
and I
the
think that's,
Library and what were they gonna, I guess this is what we discussed with them at the workshop then, is, what do they want us to go survey? Do we want just a library on Town Square, or do we want a library and a community center? Or do you want a library, community center, and a farmer's market type of? And then the fourth one will probably be community center, library, farmer's market, and swimming pool. I'll guarantee you,
Yeah.
that's the big thing right there. And then the thing is, how are we gonna pay for it? Well, as far as what we can see, it's gonna be a bond, and it has to go to the people.
yeah, so I think for us, it's like, what do we want our, let's say we're just going down, the workshop is gonna be about, do they want a town hall meeting? If so, what should it be about?
Right,
If so, are we coming with talking point, whatever, just kind of go down that route.
Yeah.
I do think it's a sticky wicket for us to be involved in a lot of, because there's just, the two sides are kind of messy right now. So I think it's for us to, like we did with the transparency one, set up the situation, advise on how to go about what it is they're wanting to do, and just kind of figure
Let
it out
them
that
make the
way.
call, and
Yeah.
then we'll follow their lead at the town hall meeting, yeah.
And then do we, for the workshop, do we want anything other than town hall meeting? Do we want to talk about, where are we at with our markers with what we've brought to you before? Do we want to do a little recap of anything? Do we want to bring up anything else? Does
It
anyone have
probably
any
wouldn't
thoughts
hurt to
or?
bring up, other things, but I think the main gist of it will be the town hall meeting. That's the
Okay.
big thing. But there's also, if we can get it on a off week where they don't have a meeting, if we can get it on an off week, we're guaranteed an hour or two. If we
Yeah,
have it on if we have it on a meeting week,
I know, we're kind of going back and forth as much as I know about what the schedule actually looks like. I'm sure he's going to come in and tell us what our actual schedule. So go ahead. Take.
As of the city council meeting last night, your schedule is April 15th.
Okay.
April 15th, okay.
Tax
And
day.
I talked to Mark,
Power Day.
I said, how much time would the commission be able to get on that? And he said it's a meeting that's getting kind of filled up. There could be some winter goal discussion as part of that meeting. And he thought that it could be up to 45 minutes, which really is
That should be-
really close to what you had
Mhm.
at a regular workshop last.
I think if we have a plan, I'm fine with
If-
that.
If you could, my thought is if you can pinpoint what specifically you want to get in during your time available and kind of list it in order, like if you have to lop off the last few things at the end because there's no time, you're okay, but at least you got that important stuff in.
Sure.
But I think we ought to focus on we're gonna do that. I think the main focus should be the.
Great,
hall.
great.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any feelings of, I don't know if Bill, maybe this is something we could work on, or someone wants to send stuff in, so we could maybe just have a little agenda, but does anyone have anything that they'd like to see out of a town hall meeting, or something that we want to bring up? Not the topic per se, but appetizers were a big hit. I hope we invite more people. Any thoughts that we want to make sure we advise about during this workshop?
Well, I don't know. Or my thought is, I guess it's gonna be totally different than the three, is that I feel we're gonna, if we do the library community center type subject here, and that was what was mentioned at the city council, we have to come up with something different than what's been done. Otherwise, I'm afraid they've heard the community, and it will probably be similar people that will come. So I don't know, it has to be something different, has to be more innovative. We can't, people maybe just coming up there with the mic and saying
Sure.
repetitive, so we have to come up with something that's gonna be more useful to them.
And I think a lot of this is, I mean, for me, just kind of, I'm seeing all the stuff on Facebook that everybody's posting. I'm seeing clips and highlights. I'm reading recaps, all that. There's certain things that really are not possible based on just what we have control over as a city, right? And there's other things that if we thought outside the box, we could, or whatever. So maybe there's something in this meeting that has some specifics as to what is and isn't possible, or what's true and not true, in the spirit of transparency. Maybe there's something that we can bring up to during our workshop that's like, how do we get a printout? How do we get a very clear picture of what has been done, hasn't been done, can't be done? Just something like that. So it isn't just people coming up to the mic and making the same thing over and over again, that we can really progress in some way. Whether people like the decision or not, they can at
Right.
least trust and feel that it's transparent, that,
Sure.
I don't know, something along those lines, maybe?
Well, I guess at our workshop, we're gonna have to ask the question too,
Mhm.
ask, okay, what do you guys want? What do
Mhm.
you want from
Mhm.
us?
Mhm.
We'll come in with our suggestions, but then again, go ahead, Bill.
No, I'm sorry.
But then again, let's bring up our suggestions on what we would like to
Mhm.
see, but then again, what do you want to see,
Mhm.
city council?
Yeah.
And then mold them together
Yeah.
and then.
And then we walk away and bring something back. Sure.
Yeah.
And implicit in the what do you want to see is when we're done with the town hall, what will allow you to feel that it was successful?
Mhm.
What do you want to walk away with
Mhm.
after this?
Just saying that you heard the community, or actually,
You got
Like, what
Appreciate
does, when you talk about, I don't think the public knows, what does a bond mean? And
Yeah.
how's that
Good
gonna
point.
impact?
Good
They
point.
don't,
All they think is taxes are going up.
Yeah.
That's all.
which,
and that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Actually explain things that were, yeah,
Right.
100%.
so, I mean, this is the type of thing that I think needs maybe to be for the town hall,
Mhm.
that you can't really explain up here at the dais.
Mhm.
And maybe in conjunction with that, some view, because I think somebody has this view of what's coming down the pike in terms of levies.
Mhm.
What's the school district?
Yeah,
how long is it before they're gonna be? active
Yeah,
for
there's
landfills?
probably.
so,
Yeah.
so, and it could mean that if certain situations with bonds, it could increase our taxes depending if we have the money.
Well, if they go with what they're thinking of, over on town square, it's gonna be a tax increase.
I would
Yeah,
like,
right.
and
Potentially,
Yeah.
but we don't, that's what I think.
Yeah, but how
These are
much,
the types
how
of
much of an
things-
increase is it gonna be is the big question.
And we don't know, like what you said, what's the school, and the levies.
they're
and-
starting the stage now.
Yeah, they are. You're right, because CV is hurting for money right now.
And so,
They're clearing that
so
land.
those are the things that I think would be good to be discussed
Sure,
at
I
the
agree.
town hall. I don't think like we did it last time, and passing the mic and having everybody say, because I think,
No, I didn't like that either.
Well,
I
I-
agree with you, Robin. I think it should be more, we should be informing them more.
and then having, but they also get a chance
Yeah,
to
they
provide
can talk. Yeah,
open-ended
exactly,
comments, but we need to bring something different to the table.
right.
If we just have the same items and the same, I'm not sure if it's going to be all helpful.
I agree.
Is, I wonder, I'm always uncertain about how we conduct. I hear the phrase rolling meetings, and I have not read the law about transparency, maybe ever. But
Shame on you.
You did though. I feel like you did.
Is this a suggestion that, would it be possible for us to have another meeting specifically to plan our time with them? Or,
I think that's it. Yeah, that's, we don't have to be all formal and say subcommittee, but I think a few of us could do like we did last time, sort of work out the agenda. If anyone has any things, they could send them to somebody and figure it out. So we have a plan or an agenda, a loose agenda for our workshop. Doesn't that seem very normal?
because I think this is all,
We'll
Good.
see it,
Yeah.
Is that what
right
your
now.
meeting here is intended for?
Yes, but there's gonna, I mean, I
We're
know,
not-
knowing Bill and knowing how we've had success in the past, a list of bullet points, a list of, a true actual agenda to perhaps read from is helpful. And I don't see us coming up with that exactly right here. I don't think it'll change much, but I think just having a script, so to
I was
speak.
gonna say a script to where we each have something to say, it's not just one person.
I think we did that at the last meeting,
Yeah,
and we worked on that and.
yeah.
I have wondered too, and I probably missed a memo here. But is there something to be gained by understanding the people who attend town hall meeting, understanding how we got here?
Of course. I think that was
Because-
super helpful to have the little, I'm sure we still have the file saved perhaps of the little fill out why you're here, how you found out we're here,
Well, no, I meant how we got here in terms of this issue
Oh, sure,
library
sure,
thing.
sure.
Because up until a couple of months ago, we were, we knew what the library was gonna like.
Well, that's transparency, right? Just explain it. Yeah, explaining where we're at in the actual process would be,
Because a lot of good work went into that.
Yeah, it did.
and money.
And it just sort of
Just went-
went down. Yeah.
It went,
Oh, I also think that when we're having this workshop, it would be nice maybe to address the elephant in the room that there is for lack of a better word, a PR problem. There is an issue right now that people are unhappy and they can't, I mean, they can choose to just ignore them. Doesn't mean they have to acquiesce or change their opinion. I just think that maybe we need to help them understand that it's not looking wonderful,
That's what prompted my
Yeah,
Yeah.
suggestion.
yeah.
What's going on here?
what's going on here?
Yeah, let's
Exactly.
be, so I think it's from their side explaining clearly where we're at with the
And what-
process and why, and what our time frame is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, my question is, and I don't know if, everything's been bounced around so much. I don't know, Robin, you might know the answer to this, but is the library, is the church completely thrown out or is it still?
no, it's still on the table, right?
No, no,
Yeah,
I mean, they.
everything has been lately, everything's been town
budget
square, town
when
square, town
it is.
square.
Yeah, and now the focus is on town square and
Yeah.
actually potentially selling the church.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
That's-
that front page headline on the last flash was, in my opinion, very misleading.
Mm-hmm.
The main headline was
Yeah,
incorrect.
the main thing said, I looked at it, I go,
The subhead-
oh, hell, we're gonna sell the church.
The
Yeah.
subhead was okay, but
Yeah.
that's not how I would have worded.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It wasn't accurate.
Yeah.
that was terrible.
Okay,
It's
so-
very much still, I would say, on the table. It's just that an additional idea has come up.
See, that was me playing devil's advocate because that's the way I read it. I'm from the splash was, Oh,
Right,
we're going in the direction of Town
Right.
Square now.
right.
Because that's what.
Well, that's what they said at the city council meeting.
Mm-hmm, I know.
I mean, I
That's why
don't
I
believe
was
the
asking the
splash was all
question.
that inaccurate. That's what was stated at the city council
Well,
meeting.
in
that-
terms of, they haven't dropped the idea of the church.
Well, we don't have the money.
Yeah.
I'll just, okay,
Sure.
haven't dropped the idea. As far as I know, unless you can show me in the budget, after I've been following it, I'm not sure that we have the money anymore to could do construction. Townsend, Turney and Harry or whatever, they're on a whole new different track
Mhm.
and they're not continuing. Now,
I know.
Okay, to throw one more wrench into
Yeah,
all this,
we're
thank you.
Full of wrenches.
Okay, now, to be clear, I read a report. I sort of was open to suggestions at the time, but also, hey, let us know, maybe we'll work it out in our workshop. There was one suggestion from Annie Kurtz about doing it on this subject. There wasn't anybody else who was like, hey, let's do that. So I would say we either need to be prepared for them as a group, not to think that that's, you know, what their next town hall meeting would be. I would argue that good luck having a town hall meeting without it coming up, so it would at least need to be addressed.
Mhm.
But maybe we need to recognize that that's not going to be the group decision to have that. Do we push harder for it? Do we just stand back and say, hey, what do you want to do? I don't know. I want to be realistic about that. We did get one thing and it clearly is the elephant in the room, but I don't know that that's the direction it will necessarily go.
Don't know either.
Bill, can I throw you under the bus a little bit? You're such a good little
Person under the bus.
writer of things, to kind of help us
Yeah.
get this nailed down.
And I wonder if maybe there isn't an opportunity for us at least to have some sort of statement of a broader purpose
Yeah.
for the meeting. Not that we would choose that, but to address the issue that you brought up so that we have, maybe it's a fallback position.
Sure.
I don't know. Okay.
And I'd be happy to work with you in depth, sit down, do a little something if you want. If anyone else wants to get
Yeah,
more
I-
involved or send things in,
Whatever you want.
I just want us to have a
I
good,
think Bill will be the driver of the bus instead of you throwing him under.
well, he's gonna climb his way out and
Well-
surprise everybody.
so then what is the plan to, you're saying, I need to
think
get
what I'm being
clarity.
Tasked with is to craft a document of bullet points that would describe how what we want to do with that 45 minutes in
Mhm.
front of the city council.
do it.
Do it.
And if anyone has a thing
We
to add,
have-
maybe by a certain time.
I was just gonna
You
say,
know.
could we have it by maybe the end of the month?
Well, I
So it
think I
gives
could
us a
do it,
couple
I could
weeks
have a
to-
draft in a week.
Oh, okay,
Just-
that'd be awesome.
And I'm never certain, I'm good at making David uncomfortable. I
Aren't
don't
we
know
all?
how widely, do you want this to come to you? Summer and I do it? Can I share it with at least?
Hey, it's our
people?
thing, why not just, yeah, and, you know,
Could we
CC
be a
David.
subcommittee?
Well, you can't have the whole group be a subcommittee.
No, no, we can't.
Well, we're not.
Although we're getting close to subcommittee levels right now.
I
Did I,
think,
did I hear that was there still an interest or was there even an interest brought up to have another meeting before the April
No.
15th?
We're thinking that we can.
no, I think it would
with
just be a couple of us that meets no problematic
The
numbers.
practice that's been done in the past is any ideas come to me, then I filter it to a subcommittee. Another possibility is you could have two different subcommittees working on two different things.
Sure. I'm reading the room. I don't know that there's exact interest in that. I think Robin usually has really good ideas that she sends in. That seems to be how you think. I've just noticed you have good ideas that you send in generally that people have sort of missed or something like that. So I would say unless you want to sit down and fashion something, this seems like a good normal way to do it.
And if you think of anything, send it to David and that way we won't offend anybody.
And I would think I'll have to check with McAvoy on this,
Not
but
gonna offend anybody
if-
anyway. I
if
mean,
a quorum is
hopefully,
not
yeah.
3 people, I'm wondering if maybe a subcommittee can be 3 people. So if you want to have 3 people involved with 2 instead of 2. that-
Well,
that
let me,
might be a
let's not make it
possibility.
harder.
Yeah,
I'll
just
draft,
keep
I'll
it
do a
to-
draft.
yeah, you
And I'll
do
get
it.
it to everybody and I'll get it to you in a week. And I can.
And I can sit down with you or do something.
With Summer, yeah. And then from that, we can finesse it however we do with
Okay.
everybody.
I'll check to see if it's,
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I
I'll
agree.
check to see if it's okay to disseminate what you come up with. to
Yeah.
everybody.
Because the purpose is just to get something to start with and then have everybody. I always work easier when I've got something in my hands to,
You always do.
An
yes.
outline or agenda or
It-
something.
You always do.
so I'll do that.
Cool. Anyone else have any?
Can I have a comment on some of the things you've been proposing? here?
Yes.
I like all these ideas that have come up. And just to help with your thinking process, hopefully you've seen this in the news, and if you haven't, please look online for this. Look at what happened with the Michael Baumgartner town halls that happened in Spokane and Ritzville this past week. And do what you can to not let that sort of thing happen. Is everybody familiar with what went on with that?
Yeah, we aren't gonna talk about Trump or Biden or anyone
Well,
like that.
no, I mean, in
And we
terms
ain't
of
gonna
how,
be talking about Ukraine or anything. We're
I mean,
talking
in terms of
about
how the thing was
city-
organized.
City of Liberty Lake, yeah.
Sure, I
The-
think,
The thing wasn't controlled. Both of those were not controlled. So the fact that you're
I
coming
think
up
it's
with these
because of the
topics.
subject matter.
And getting people focused on things like what would constitute a success of a town hall? What does a bond mean? I like that one. You know, all these different things that you could bring up as far as the components of a town hall that would get the crowd focused on those components
Mhm.
and contributing helpfully to the ideas of those
Yeah.
components.
okay,
So the council gets what they need.
okay. I'm excited about this. All right, moving on. D,
Can everybody
yes.
be there on the 15th? I think it worked with everybody's
well,
emails. We'll be
You
there.
Summer, I'm good.
Yeah.
I've made arrangements.
okay, any upcoming opportunities, other upcoming opportunities?
I do have one thing on my mind. I would like to have on our April agenda a discussion about farmers market, just so that we sort of reset expectations for all of us on the commission and perhaps, as we alluded to earlier, maybe expand our thinking a little bit about how we can work that opportunity. Because the next month, we're gonna be in it.
Yeah, it starts the 18th.
Did the scheduling system we had last summer work for everybody?
I liked it. It was easy to sign up. I think it was. If, I don't want to speak for Robin, but as I remember what that looked like, I have to feel like she might have felt a little frustrated sometimes that she was there always willingly, but maybe more than she would have chosen.
That was, I was just gonna bring up, you know, if we're, I don't think we should have to be there every freaking week.
See, and that's
And
the
there's
conversation.
there's
Excuse me.
other commissions that should.
Didn't we kind of discuss this
We are
yet?
There every week.
But didn't we kind of end
I
it
think-
that we were that we wanted to take it down a notch?
Well, we kind of discussed it,
Yeah.
but we really haven't, you know.
Okay.
come
So
to-
let's
Okay.
do that.
Let's do that
Decide
next
what that
month.
looks like.
Let's bring it up next month.
Okay.
With the farmer's market on there.
And on a related note, does anybody know where the binder is? Anybody?
no,
So
not
frustrating to me.
everybody.
I probably have, it's probably under my bed.
Check
I-
your bed when you get home.
I have the bin, it is not in the bin.
And we didn't give it to Tate to put in the
I
copy?
asked Tate about that, and I confess that I believe I'm the last person to have held the binder in my hands that is known.
It's in the cloud is what you're saying.
I'm saying that some mystery person, unidentified, might
Sure.
have it in a
It's-
drawer
it's-
in their
Binder
office.
2.0.
We can do another one.
We got this. And then we'll
We'll
find,
do another
Just
one.
brings tears to my eyes.
listen, we'll figure this out. We
Bill,
got
I'll
this
get one all made up, get it finalized.
And then you'll
you
find it
come home.
under
I
your
got
bed.
it.
I know, that's sure.
It's gonna open the
Underneath seat
microwave.
of My truck. Whatever,
The
yeah.
microwave.
Uh,
Okay, all right. Well, we'll make another group effort to figure that out.
I think it's insidious.
Okay, I think it is too.
Yeah.
I thought we had a special little place. I swear I went to record with you. I left you with the binder and can I put it in a special place? I swear that's what happened. All right.
We got Nancy Hill next month and we got Farmers Market.
Anything else?
Well, I think we should have a follow-up on the workshop discussion.
Yep.
And I have something else. David,
Sure.
if you can keep us updated on where Lisa, keys on the comp plan and
Okay.
where maybe we
Yep.
can help or support so that we know and we can have that added to the schedule.
I did ask her that this week and she said no new update on that one yet. She
Okay,
may be. at
and
the
I
next
think that
week-
that's fine too.
Yeah, well, I went to the last, at our last meeting, we discussed someone representing us at the next planning commission meeting. I went to it. I left halfway through because it was just a regular planning commission meeting.
Yeah, that's what
I thought it was Gonna be, I thought it was gonna be
Sure.
Yeah.
involving us. but
Yeah.
We had nothing. So
Yeah.
there was no reason for me to be there. So-
And so I was watching it on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
And so, and I
So
thought,
you saw it.
yeah, I thought, okay, so,
Was this the one where they had the persons representing the,
Burke Consulting.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I
And
did that.
so anyway, I tend to zoom in a lot. Just sort of let us know, that would be helpful, on where we need to really be there to support, or if we need, because and it's okay, I'm just still a little fuzzy on it, that's all.
Just an update on this group's involvement with comp plan, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if. we-
And
if
the
they
sign
want-
ordinance,
And if they want us to be there, we'd like to
Yeah,
be
sure.
there for a reason and
Sure.
not waste our time, because that was a total waste of my time.
well, I zoomed in, but it was, I could,
Yeah.
and
there
just
was
thought,
no
okay,
reason
I
to be
did
there,
miss.
'cause, it was why they had the meeting and, why I was there was two different things.
Who all attended or watched that? Okay.
And
Did you have similar sentiments as Mark?
I'm always impressed by how well prepared Lisa and her team, whoever they
Oh, yeah,
are.
goes without saying.
I am left wondering sometimes if, and maybe there's no way to avoid this, if time is being wasted on the discussion of topics that don't brook discussion.
Mhm.
That we're being told, and sometimes it's hard for me to swallow too, that there are certain things that have to be done because it's mandated by the law. Well, so if, I don't understand why we're talking about it and inviting the controversy that invariably is raised when nothing can change. So that would be, I would wonder if there, and maybe there's no way to avoid it, but I would, if I were talking to Lisa, I'd say, maybe we should just consider that and see if we can say, here are the things, here is what is, and here's what we can shape. Let's talk about
I
this.
will say some meetings and some groups and some individuals seem to be better at leading with that than others.
Yeah.
And kind of peppering it in throughout. So I don't know what the answer is, but I have noticed that too. Some of them, it's like they get a certain point and then they just kind of say like, oh, but yeah, of course we can't change it. This is just informative. It's like, well, I wish we knew that at the beginning.
Yeah.
And others say it right, right at the top. So I don't know. I
Rob-
like the informative stuff, but it is hard when you don't know.
Robin, what was your takeaway from the planning commission meeting?
It was informative, but had a similarity to other planning commission meetings.
Mhm.
And where we could, unknown exactly where we can be of a support to Lisa and the planning commission.
I'll write
And
it.
and I'm trying to get that in my mind identified,
What does she need
and
from us?
the purpose of us, and then the outcome and the results expected. So, I mean, that's how my mind, I'm very logical and thinking steps and things, so and so she did let us know that it was probably gonna be fairly fluid, I get it, and there's no criticism here, and I'd be happy to listen or zoom in on the meetings. But just hopefully we're ready when they do need our support.
I'll relay all that to Lisa tomorrow.
So that's all. There's no, it's just a comment. It's not a critic, not any, it's just an observation of we want to be ready when they do need our support.
Last thing for upcoming opportunities / next meeting. I don't have any specific ideas, but if we have 1 or 2 new members here on the commission, maybe we want to think about what including them looks like, what materials we might want them to
So
have
you
or
want us
catch
to
up
bring
on
in
or,
the goat so they can ride the goat and all that?
or kiss the
The
goat.
initiation?
Yeah,
Okay.
wear a hat.
Yeah.
Hand
Haze 'em.
handprint in the binder,
There
you
you
see.
go.
Blame them on losing it. I don't know, whatever,
Yeah.
it'd be nice. I don't know, whatever, just putting it out there. We could all wear the same color and then they show up not wearing the color and then we laugh at them, something like that. I don't know.
Well, shouldn't that be something we need to, at next meeting, discuss and look at when new members come on and how do we onboard them?
Yeah. In seriousness, it would be good to have some sort of
Just kind
plan or
of a
something.
welcome type of thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe a
know.
new photo.
Well, do a photo or I think we ought to do a roundtable thing, because they won't know us.
Mhm.
Have them, explain, okay, tell us about you. And then we go around and give them a little synopsis of each of us.
Yeah, and maybe
Kind of
something
a-
we're proud of that the group has
Kind of a
done.
group, introduction type of thing.
In the spirit of perhaps recreating the Phantom binder. A couple of things that are in the binder that maybe we could just hand them with a little, one of those theme notebooks, the ordinance.
Mhm.
There are a couple, I'd have to look, a couple of things from the city website.
Mhm.
That would just be a good sort of basic
Yeah,
thing.
good idea.
Would save them having to go look for it, and I
Right.
do want them to read that.
Mhm.
Sure,
But it'd be minimal.
Yeah, I agree.
good idea.
And maybe a list, and maybe this is something for the binder.
Oh, go ahead.
A list of when different commissions, when said meetings are, when standing things
I was
exist, the
thinking also
calendar.
maybe contact information for us.
Right, which I think we tried at one point, but what happened there? I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do have the list. so.
Okay,
If anybody needs a list, I can send it.
Yeah.
out.
okay. All right, that's enough out of me. I just, okay.
Good
All right,
idea.
all right, anything else for next meeting? Can we call it a night? This meeting is over.
Cool.